Welcome back. Now, tomorrow is International Day of Tolerance, the 16th of November. It's an annual observance day declared by UNESCO in 1995 to generate public awareness of the dangers of intolerance. To speak more on this, I'm joined by the CEO of Tolerance Education Awareness Movement, Themba Zweni. Mr. Zweni, thank you so much for making the time to come and be with us this morning. Before we talk about your work, let's just talk about tolerance and what it means.
I'll talk first about what tolerance is not. Tolerance means that we create spaces for people to be able to look at issues, not necessarily agreeing with everything, but being able to say even odd ideas.
Yeah.
They will be able to entertain them. Our South African discourse currently is very polarized. You are either black or white. There's nothing in between. Therefore, we want to create that space where we'll be able to engage on issues without necessarily putting labels at everything. That's what tolerance is all about.
So one of the big messages that the South African government particularly sends out is that we are united in our diversity, and it's out of this diversity that there comes a need for tolerance, isn't it?
Definitely. That's what we are focusing on as Tolerance Education Awareness Movement. That we've got very serious challenges in this country, and the root cause of most of those challenges is that we're intolerant. A number of studies have already pointed out the fact that our tolerance levels are actually decreasing largely.
Tolerance or intolerance?
Of intolerance are decreasing. Our levels.
Oh, that's a good sign,
yes.
Isn't it?
Maybe
I'm misunderstanding you.
Yes.
What is increasing or decreasing? The levels of intolerance or the levels of tolerance?
What is increasing is intolerance. What is decreasing is tolerance.
Oh, wow.
Yes. That's why you would even find that the prosperity index would show us that our personal safety is seriously challenged. We are actually ranked amongst countries who are at war.
Yeah. Just take us through the elements or the factors that are causing the increase of intolerance.
The first one, I would say, like I mentioned initially, that our South African discourse is mostly polarized. You are either right or wrong. That's what causes our major problems. Because there is no way, whenever a person presents an idea or a view, that idea
the other one is not willing to listen.
Yes, the other one is not willing to listen.
Tell us about the work of the Tolerance Education Awareness Movement. What sort of programs have you got running? Which communities are you reaching out to in the efforts to encourage tolerance?
Yes. We're mostly based in the Mangaung area.
This is the Free State?
Yes, in Bloemfontein. We initially started engaging with the Office of the President, trying to raise our concerns around intolerance.
Yeah.
We're also focusing on the 8 schools in the Mangaung area, which there's quite a lot of gangsterism and all that.
Correct me here if I'm wrong, and I might be presumptuous here, that we're in Gauteng now, and diversity levels are much higher here than they would be, for argument's sake, in Mangaung, where your considerations are around maybe Basotho-speaking people and maybe Afrikaners. So it's just between the two groups, as opposed to Gauteng, where it's much more diverse and much more complex. I don't know if that's correct or the wrong assumption.
We have an event today in Gauteng in Lynbro Park, where we've decided to collaborate with other NGOs, including that of Mrs. Zonke Mpotulo, to try and address issues of tolerance in Gauteng. That's why we have...
So you have a national footprint?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I cannot say we have a national footprint. We are working towards that. That's why we're visiting other provinces to ensure that at least we talk to NGOs that are existing in those provinces to see if we can't
So how
together.
are you interacting with the UNESCO theme and some of the activities that they're undertaking to mark this day?
At this stage, there's very few events happening in our country. It's rare. We are in the process of engaging with UNESCO offices in Pretoria to see if they can be able to work with us on future projects. That's why we've approached SABC, we've approached Brand SA, to try and ensure that such activities are properly supported.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to finalize our conversation, just remind us of the importance of tolerance in a country such as South Africa.
The fact that at this stage we are ranked amongst countries that are at war in itself, that says a lot. Two, the fact that people cannot be able to share, to engage in uncomfortable conversations, in a decent manner, it's worrisome. That's what worries us a lot. We want to create that space so that at the end of the day, everyone can be able to engage.
Mr. Themba Zweni is he's the CEO of the Tolerance Education Awareness Movement. Thank you so much for coming through to talk to us today. You're watching The Agenda. Let's take a break.